Hello once again everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time joining me here today. My name is Hannah. I make a lot of different videos here on YouTube, sometimes story time, sometimes makeup related, sometimes jewelry related. I do vlogs now, like it's a whole mixed bag. So if you're new, or if you are like a returning subscriber and you haven't checked out my playlist section, I would recommend that you do that, because I have a bunch of stories, like Storytime playlist, makeup playlist, all different playlists. So if you are new or you're a returning subscriber who hasn't seen those, please go check them out. I like to believe I have a little something for everybody here. But without further ado, let's get into this story. And it's upsetting, but let's get into it. So I wouldn't say that this is a whole entire like comprehensive story that happened. Like, this isn't a start to finish story. It's just a bunch of different examples about how absolutely insane my former boss is. Like, at the jewelry store that I worked in, the high-end jewelry store. If you're a returning subscriber, you know. If not, maybe go watch my Jennifer series playlist, just other story times I have. But this story is about my former boss. He was the owner of the jewelry store. I always get people asking me, why didn't you go to HR? Why didn't you contact corporate? Honey, there was no corporate, there was no HR. If you have a problem, you go to the boss. There are no managers. There was the office manager, but all she does is really handle like ordering stuff. She handles like the accounting, stuff like that. She doesn't like interfere with salespeople's problems. Like, she doesn't do that. So if we had a problem or an issue, it went straight to the owner. It wasn't like there's a manager you can go to. There's no HR you can contact. There's nothing remotely like that at all. So it kind of, you know, leaves room for the boss to go mad with power, which is pretty much what happens. So anyway, I'm basically in this video just going to be talking about how absolutely controlling he was. And I've mentioned this in other videos. I haven't been shy about it. It's just a huge personality trait that he had. So the first instance that I ever heard of this was when I was talking to Elizabeth, and I was talking to her about, you know, asking like if she was gonna have kids or whatever, because her and her husband have been married for a while, and she was like, yeah, we're going to. But she was like, you know, the owner, he said that if I got pregnant that he would fire me because he didn't want a pregnant woman working for him. I was like, what? Like, I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but okay, tell me the rest of the story. So apparently she was talking to the office manager one day, and the office manager's office is like conjoined with the owner's office, but there's like a sliding door, but it's usually open unless the owner is in a meeting. So anyway, Elizabeth was talking with the office manager. They were just having a normal conversation, and the office manager had said, hey, like, when are you and your husband gonna have kids? And she was like, I don't know, we're thinking about doing that soon. And the owner like busts in there. He's like, you're not gonna get pregnant. You don't need a baby. You just need to get another dog, because I'm not having a pregnant woman work for me. Like, you're crazy if you think that I'm gonna keep you on board when you're pregnant. Like, that's insane. You're not getting pregnant. Just get another dog. And she was like, I was like, you need to start recording this stuff, because you need a lawyer. So that's just one instance. Another instance also has to do with Elizabeth. Basically, she had considered, about a year after she started working at the jewelry store, she had considered going back to school for nursing, because she really, you know, she feels like her passion is in nursing. She loves helping people. She's just a really kind person. I love her. So I was like, yeah, you know, like, that's great. You should do that. She was telling me about it when we worked together. She was like, yeah, I considered that about a year after I started, but the owner told me that he would fire me if I went back to school, because he needed me here full time, and he didn't think that I needed to go to nursing school and all this stuff. And I'm just like, why are you letting a boss tell you how to live your life? You know, like, that's a major life decision. I don't think you should be basing that off your boss at your rinky-dink job. Like, not to say it's rinky-dink, because she makes good money. She makes, you know, $16, $17 an hour. She's doing pretty good. But at the same time, if you really love nursing, just like anything else, if you really love something and that's what you want to pursue, I would say you need to do that. And the fact that he was like, no, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You just need to work here full time and all this stuff is really selfish and controlling. And it just really shows more of that controlling nature. It's crazy. Another thing about how controlling this man is, basically, Elizabeth and the office manager would always like order, whenever they would order anything online, sometimes they'd have it shipped to the store, because if they're gone all day, they don't want that package to just sit outside of their house. So it's just easier and safer for them to send it to the store and just get it there instead of having the package sit outside their house all day while they're at work, you know? So they would often do that, and whenever the boss saw them do that, he would get so mad because they were spending money. Literally, he'd be like, you don't need to be spending that kind of money. Like, what are you doing? You've gotten so many packages this week. Like, you don't need to be spending that kind of money. That's crazy. You need to save your money, blah, 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 all this stuff. Like, he would go off. I saw him go off on both the office manager and Elizabeth for doing that. And I'm like, it's their money, bud. Like, yeah, you signed the paycheck, but it's their money. It's between them and their husband. Like, it's not about you. You're not in this relationship. I'm so sorry, but you're not connected to their bank account. You're literally insane. I don't know. I don't understand the thought process that goes on in this man's mind. I could never fathom being that obsessed with controlling my employees or just the people I work. Like, that's crazy. They're people. They're not like your slaves. I'm sorry. You can't control what they do with their money or what they do with their body. So, like, leave. Goodbye. I've talked about this and touched on this before, I believe, but this is the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video because I'm just getting heated over here. Basically, he would get extremely mad whenever anybody got sick. And Elizabeth has stomach ulcers that flare up from time to time. She's just got some gastrointestinal issues, which, like, it happens. Like, it sucks, but, you know, people get dealt a bad hand. Like, it happens. And I am not always the most healthy person. When I get sick, I get sick. Like you guys saw with my infection, I was, like, down for, what, a month, 2 months, 2 weeks? I don't know. But when I get sick, I get sick. I'm down, you know, like, if it's like one thing after another. If I get one infection, I'm probably going to get a second one. It's just, I don't have the greatest immune system, and neither does Elizabeth. Like, yeah, it's unfortunate and it sucks, but, like, what are you going to do? So whenever people would get sick, whenever people would call in, whenever people would bring in doctor's notes, he would just be the biggest butthead in the world. He'd be like, oh, you could go to the doctor, but you couldn't come to work. You could have came back to work after this. You're not contagious, blah, blah, blah. You need to suck it up. There's no reason for you to miss work. You need to be here. And I'm just like, sir, it is our bodies. We can't even control this, you know, like, you can't control getting sick. You can't control getting the flu. Literally one day, Elizabeth was sick, like sick, like puking. She had to leave work after she was already there. She was puking, and he was so pissed that she left work because she was puking. I'm like, have you lost your mind? Have you lost it? And one day, I came into work and I just started feeling horrible. Like, I ended up puking, you know? And this was like 2 separate occasions. Like, I didn't get sick because of her and she didn't get sick because of me. This was just like 2 separate occasions. I was throwing up in the bathroom at work, and Ashley had actually called in sick that morning, and I didn't want to leave. Like, I didn't want to go because I felt bad leaving Elizabeth by herself, because you never know if a day is going to be extremely busy or extremely slow. So I just felt so horrible leaving her by herself. So I went and talked to Elizabeth, and I was like, you know, what should I do? And she was like, I can just tell by looking at you, you don't feel good. Like, she was like, you're flushed. You just look so sick. and you need to go and ask him to go home because you don't need to be up here. And I was like, well, I hate to leave you and all this stuff. And she's like, no, go tell him. So I went in there and I told him, and he was like, I'm getting real sick of y'all being sick all the time. Like, y'all need to quit that and yada yada. So just go home. And I'm just like, and so yeah, this man, I can't comprehend the things that go on in his mind. He's just such a controlling person. I cannot relate. I can't relate. I don't understand. I don't understand how you feel the need to be in control of other people. Like, it's one thing to be a control freak about yourself, but like your employees, just other people, like, no, honey, no. Thank you guys once again so much for joining me again today. Leave me a like if you liked the video, comment down below, and subscribe because I make new videos every Monday and Friday. Thank you guys once again so much for joining me today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.